They call it the Asus VivoBook 14X OLED, and in this video, let's unbox it. Now, I'm excited about this laptop for a couple of reasons. First of all, this is one of the thinnest and lightest laptops that I have reviewed that has an H series processor from Intel. Now, I'm gonna do a full review of this laptop, of course, but I wanna see if an H series processor in a thin and light laptop can give us great battery life, because if it can, this could be a great buy for a lot of designers, a lot of video editors, and a lot of photographers. Now, keep in mind, this does not have a dedicated GPU. This is merely running off the H series processor and the integrated graphics. So that's what I'm really curious about during the full review. So make sure you go ahead, subscribe, and ring the bell so you don't miss out on that. And I'm actually gonna compare it to last year's model with the G7 version of the processor. So keep an eye out for all that good stuff. All right, as we're looking at the box, very similar to last year's VivoBook box. Nice go green, save green packaging, looking good. Now let's go ahead and check out our charger block. A nice little charger cord there. Somewhere in here should be our nice and small charger block, 90-watt charger block. That's interesting because this is a i7 12700H, which is an 8 series high performance processor with 45 watts of TDP. So curious how well that 90-watt charger is going to do for that processor. We'll find out in the full review, as we've been saying. Okay, let's go ahead and get this thing out of the box here. Looks like there's only just a few little knickknacks and little brochures here. So nothing to be too concerned about. As you can see, I've brought back the top camera. Thank you so much for all y'all's feedback. I really appreciate that. I wasn't sure if it was really bringing you all the value that you wanted. And so clearly, by the reports, the top camera is important. So thank you for your recommendations. Pulling it out of the sleeve for the first time. Looks good. Go ahead and pull off the fancy little sticker we have here. Really cool, but don't need that for the review. And let's go ahead and check out the bottom cover. So it's an all aluminum laptop. Bottom cover is aluminum, side panels, and top cover. Let's do the tap test on the bottom cover. Nicely assembled, no rattly, loose sounds, no hollowness. Sounds very firm and secure. Top cover as well sounds really good. Let's go ahead and check out the assembly, how it's fit together. It sits a little deeper into the side panel than I might personally prefer, but there's no catchy edges. It feels very well assembled. It sits into the side panel very nicely. It just sits just a hair deeper. So there is an edge you can feel, but it's not sharp. Looking at the bottom cover, you can see we have a vent on the left side panel as well as the vent that goes along the bottom cover. And that fan fits right in near that side panel vent. And it looks like we're gonna probably have some heat pipes coming through here. We'll go ahead and open up the laptop at the end of this video, so you can check out the internals, see if there's an upgrade path to this laptop, etc. Now we do have quite a selection of ports on this laptop. We have a USB Type-A on the left side panel, and along the right side panel we have HDMI, 2 USB Type-Cs, a USB Type-A, and a headphone jack. We don't have a micro SD card slot nor an SD card slot, but we do have the connectivity with USB Type-C, so you can go ahead and bring along a dongle for that type of connectivity. And keep in mind that this is a USB Type-C charger, which means that power delivery will be able to be done by a monitor through USB Type-C. So that'll be really nice to be able to plug in and have that right there at your fingertips, and it'll save you one of your ports, which is very nice. Now let's go ahead and get this thing opened up. Let's see how we can do with one hand here. Go one hand. It does in one hand open. It's a little on the snug side, but it definitely can do a one-handed open. If you're gonna do it quick, definitely wanna have two hands on there. And I have to point out, one thing I'm really interested to know about this laptop is the battery life. I might have mentioned that as I was initially getting the box open, but this is one of the first laptops that I've personally had my hands on that is an Intel Evo laptop that is not a mobile processor. So the Intel Evo badge, basically in a nutshell, is Intel working directly with the OEM manufacturer like Asus, and they help them to integrate the CPU into the computer for the best optimization of performance and battery life, as well as a few, key other features. But really those are the big concerns for me, is performance and battery life. So I'm really curious to see how their performance is going to be in regards to this H series processor in a thin and light laptop. Really looking forward to that. Again, subscribe and ring the bell so you don't miss out on that. All right, as we're looking at the interior of the laptop here, we have a manual cutoff switch for the webcam. You can see right up here. That just slides across the webcam to block it out. No cyber spine welcome here. And then, of course, we have our nice large trackpad for a 14-inch laptop. This looks very similar to about the G14 size trackpad. I'm so happy to see larger trackpads coming onto these smaller form factor laptops, being that this is a 14-inch form factor. Really looking good. I'm glad we have the 16:10 aspect ratio for a larger view. This really made the difference for me on the G14 last year's model versus this year's model. So I'm liking the 14-inch 16:10 aspect ratio. If you're curious about the exact pricing and availability of this laptop, I'm gonna put links in the description below. And if you do make a purchase of those links, I will get a small commission, but at no extra cost to you. But of course, that's what keeps this channel alive and the helpful content coming your way. Really nice, we can open up the screen all the way to 180 degrees. So whether you're, in a coffee shop and you have a small table that you're working with, you can really open up your screen, be comfortable. You're not looking at it like at a weird angle or something. I appreciate that touch. So the keyboard is more of a consolidated keyboard. You're gonna have no numpad on the right side, which personally I'm fine with. Not really necessary for me. We do have a fingerprint reader for the power button. So you just quickly log in. Very nice. And we have a full-size shift key on the right. This is huge for me. I love the full-size shift key. If the full-size shift key does not exist on a computer, I end up always missing it. And so I'm like doing non-capital letters, or I hit like slashes in the middle of my sentences. So that makes me really happy that they have the full-size shift key. Let's go ahead and do a quick screen flex test. I forgot to do that as we were jumping in here. It looks really good. Definitely some flex, but that aluminum top cover is giving it some good stability. And then, of course, on the bottom cover, we have a little bit of flex on the bottom cover, that hinge. From a design standpoint, the VivoBook X series really stands out. They just take the time to make these nice little design head nods with the graphics on the keyboard deck, the red escape key, kind of that warning sign enter key. It just stands out as a little bit different. It's not just the standard basic laptop. They make it something to be appreciated. They make the actual design of the laptop to be something that's noticed in a positive way. It's not the, over gaming laptop with all the RGB and all the colorful, keys everywhere. It's simple and refined, and I really appreciate that about the laptop. Now, before we go ahead, flip this thing over and take the bottom cover off and check out the components, let's do a quick sample of the webcam. This is the webcam on the Asus VivoBook S 14X, and a little sample of the audio for you. One more quick detour before getting into the bottom cover. If you want to go ahead and use the different fan modes, you just actually jump into this My Asus Command Center, go to customize, and then you can have performance mode, standard mode, and even the whisper mode, which is like the quiet mode. And so during the full review, I'm gonna test all these modes so we know where's the best performance, where's the best battery life, and how to get the most out of this laptop. So really happy to see control over the fan modes. I was nervous when I didn't see the Armory Crate Center or the Creator Hub. They have the My Asus Center, which gives you that control that you need. So I've got the bottom cover off, and looking at this laptop, this kind of to me is like the non-gamer version of the Asus Zephyrus G14. We have one swappable RAM. We have access to an M.2 drive. It does not look like we have an extra M.2 available, which again would represent the correlation between this and the G14. So honestly, before benchmarking it, right, this is something that I would recommend to a designer, to possibly a 4K video editor, depending on the playback performance in Premiere Pro, a photographer, a digital artist. I mean, this is so sturdy. I mean, it's good aluminum. It's good, thick quality aluminum material. It just feels sturdy. I really like it. And honestly, compared to the G14, it's thinner and lighter, so it has even more of that sturdy feel. With the G14, it's a bit of a thicker laptop comparatively. And so like when that happens, you start to get kind of some of that more spongy press to the laptop compared to this one. Again, I think the G14 is phenomenal. It's a fantastic laptop. But if we're talking simply apples to apples here, or oranges to apples, whatever you want to say, this is looking like a great buy for a specific set of users. Now, again, we have the 70 watt-hour battery. Going to see how that does in correlation with the i7-12700H. Looking forward to what this thing has. But from the unboxing alone, I'm impressed. I'm liking the build. I'm liking the upgrade path. Great work, Asus. This is looking like something ridden ass. If you want to know the exact pricing, availability, or even make a purchase of this laptop, links will be in the description below. Likes if this video has brought you some value, and subs if you don't want to miss out on the future uploads. I'll see you here in the next one.